So I was planning to make this video, which is about how important it is to know the kinds of work that you really find most satisfying, that you really like doing the most. Because if you can plan your work around that, it can make you so much more productive and so much more effective. But then I thought, hold on a minute. Am I about to make a video where I tell people to follow their passion? Because that's usually terrible advice. So let's explore this idea. I think that, follow your passion, do what you love is quite typical entrepreneurial advice, right? Follow your dreams and all this kind of stuff. And I do think that usually in the context that this is talked about, it's usually pointless. It's usually not a recipe for success. And let me explain that, because I want to show you two aspects to this, both of which you should be aware of, and we have to kind of find a balance here. The reason I say that following your passion is terrible advice is because it sets a completely wrong expectation. There's just no guarantee that following your passion is going to do much good for you in your life, beyond, of course, in the moment, being able to do something you enjoy. But basically, the world doesn't owe you that pursuing a hobby you like doing somehow turns into something that can form a livelihood for you or anything like that. The reality is that we live in an economic system that values some things and doesn't value other things, and there's no guarantee that your passions and your interests align with what is economically valuable. So telling someone who wants to start a business, or even just as general career advice, telling someone to follow their passion is just bad advice, right? Because it's not going to work for most people. The thing is, even if your passion, even if your interests are aligned with something that is economically valuable, there's still no guarantee it's going to work. In many cases, there's so many people with good ideas, so many people with expertise, so many people who maybe can create great things, but they're far from being able to make a living from that. They're far from, they're basically struggling because it takes a certain edge to make it work. In most cases, you have to combine the thing you're passionate about, the thing you want to create, with some real marketing savvy in order to turn that into a business. And this is a problem that's near and dear to me, because it took me a while, but that's where I was at one point. I wanted to start a business, and I had a bunch of ideas, and I kind of tried to start a few things. At some point I realized, the problem isn't that my ideas are no good. The problem isn't that I'm not competent enough or whatever. It's that I have no idea how to reach people. So the missing part for me was not that I wasn't doing something, that there wasn't enough passion or not enough expertise or something. The missing part was I didn't know how to do any marketing. And I had to combine my interests with clever marketing in order to get anywhere. I think the follow your dreams advice often comes from people who are either deluded or who just got super lucky, right? Because maybe your dream is something and you upload a few vlogs about it, and for some reason it just strikes a chord and you end up making a living without much effort, and it really does feel like all I did was follow my dreams. But the reality is, if that happens to someone, it's basically sheer luck, right? They basically just stumbled ass backwards into success. That is not good advice. It's not applicable for other people. There's another aspect to this that adds another layer that I think is just not talked about enough, which is that you can become passionate about things, right? It's not that you're just locked into whatever you're interested in right now, whatever you dream about doing right now. You can become interested and you can enjoy processes that maybe you aren't currently passionate about yet. Which again, I think is an important thing, because of course, most of us have a goal of being able to spend more time doing things we like doing. But I think it's completely realistic to, first of all, maybe combine something that you like doing with some business stuff, with some marketing stuff, and turn that into a business that you're proud of and that works well. But it's also possible to, do something else and enjoy that, and do the other thing you're passionate about as a hobby. It's not something we should forget about, right? That's basically a normal thing to do. We don't have to turn everything we like into some kind of a business opportunity, or have everything we like dominate our lifestyle. And I bring this up because it's useful to keep this in mind, and to look at some of the things that may be necessary for you to start and run a business and to grow and to be more productive and so on. And look at that and see, how can I enjoy this? Can I enjoy this process? Can I enjoy something about this? Now for me personally, I might be a bit of an extreme example of this, because once I realized that marketing was the missing piece for me, I started studying marketing and I basically fell in love with it. I was so fascinated with marketing itself, and I got so into it that then I started building businesses around the topic of marketing. Would you have asked me before then, I would have said no, I have no passion for marketing whatsoever. But then a few years later, I was just so into it that I was, reading about it and learning it and applying it day and night, and it was my favorite thing in the world. So what I'm saying so far is following your passion by itself is no good advice. You can find passion and interest in other things, and you have to be willing, even if you build a business around something you're passionate about, you have to be realistic and see that there's business and marketing stuff that needs to get done and administrative stuff that needs to get done in order to turn a passion into a functioning and successful business. And sometimes you just have to suck it up and do a bunch of stuff that you don't want to do, right? That you're not passionate about. That's just one of the prices of success. But having said that, here's where we can end up falling into a trap. And if you follow my content, you've heard me talk about like the importance of hard work, the importance of having like the discipline and the grit to get through really tough times and all this, which is that, right? It's not always going to be fun and games. But here's the thing, we can also get stuck in the mode of constantly doing things that are hard and forget about doing things that we actually enjoy most. And this is where my example comes in. I noticed, maybe you can still hear my voice is a bit croaky. I got a cold or a flu or something. But anyway, I was out for a few days and I almost lost my voice, and so I couldn't record videos for a while. And I noticed that this really affected my mood negatively because, first of all, when I'm not recording videos, I don't feel very productive. Even if I'm doing a lot of other stuff, I don't get that satisfaction of finishing a video. So it doesn't feel so good. And also, it means that I'm doing work that I enjoy less than creating content. And so it really pressed on my mood. And I noticed that very often, now I was basically acknowledging, look, I love making content. I love creating content for courses like I'm doing right now. I love creating content like this just for videos or blog posts or whatever, something I really enjoy. And for a long time, I didn't do much of this. Even though this is something I enjoy doing and I'm good at it, and it is good for my business when I do these things, right? There is an alignment here where if I spend more time doing the thing that I really enjoy doing, it's not like I'm wasting time doing this, right? But I can get stuck in the mode of, one must work hard always, one must suffer, one must self-flagellate almost, right? And this is where like the whole problem that I've also previously mentioned with like hustle porn, right? Where it's like the overly dramatic celebration of just hustle, non-stop work, don't sleep, work 24/7. This kind of thing, it can put you in the wrong mode, right? Where it's like, why am I doing this? Why am I torturing myself with stuff that I don't like and I'm not good at? So my message here is basically neither you should just follow your passions, nor you should just work hard. It is that it's more complicated than that. Here's the takeaway. If what you've been doing is trying to follow your dreams and constantly being disappointed, then you should start leaning more towards, discipline and hard work and hustle, because you can't expect to always enjoy yourself. You can't expect that if you do that, then, you do the thing that you like doing right now, and the moment it gets difficult, you abandon it. You'll never get anywhere like that. On the other hand, if you are just like putting crushing pressure on yourself all the time, working super hard, feeling stressed and so on, then take a step back and examine this and ask yourself, okay, can I bring some more enjoyment into this? Is there stuff I can do that is more aligned with what I like doing? Can I somehow leverage some of my passions and some of my skills, some of the things I enjoy doing that will make me feel more productive, that will make me enjoy work more? And there can be a trade-off, even if that's not the best, most important thing I need to work on right now. That's a good trade-off to say, you know what, I'm going to make some content in my case. It's going to make me feel good, even if it's not the most important piece of content I'll ever publish. And then I can spend the rest of the day doing something else, doing some other work that I might enjoy less, but on balance, that puts me in a much more sustainable mode, right? That's something I can do day after day instead of just like torturing myself. So if you find yourself like super stressed, torturing yourself all the time, then also question that. Question if you're basically just playing the role of a martyr or something, and if you've just gotten into this mode of almost punishing yourself with work, and see if you can lean a bit more towards doing things you enjoy. All right, so that's a bit of a stream of consciousness update, but I hope it sparks some ideas for you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, leave a comment below and I'd love to get your feedback and see if we can start a discussion about this.